half decades, Nosha speaks, writes, informs on all community issues in a bold and candid manner. He has an abiding interest in the Zoroastrian Bombay Parsi Panchayat.
The knowledge. I feel so overwhelmed with all the bits. From friends saying that we elders have something to share. I have always believed that I in a sense, is the embodiment of divinity. In all religious practice, you'll find that there are fires. The Hindu will probably worship through Agni. The Christian may light candles at their churches. And a Zoroastrian will look at fire as the embodiment of life. We all know that fire is a dispeller of darkness. It may be a completely dark room and all you need is a small little candle light and darkness just disappears. Because darkness to begin with does not even have existence of its own. Darkness is merely the absence of light. You bring in light and darkness goes away. In like manner, you bring knowledge and ignorance vanishes. And therefore, fire has to be looked at from this point of view. Fire is the dispel of darkness. Darkness figuratively, symbolically, and free. And more importantly, fire is the giver of life. Fire is what animates everything. When we are dead, our body is cold. While we are alive, we have a temperature. Even when we are sick, you find that we have a temperature which is higher. That is the fire energies within you fighting the infection. You know, we are in the pandemic right now. And one of the symptoms that happens when you are hit by the virus is the body runs a certain temperature. It probably goes above 36 degrees Celsius. And what does it mean? It means the fire energies are trying to fight an infection. So therefore, fire is a giver of life and it's a purifying force. So fire has to be looked at from that point, and therefore Zoroastrians do not worship fire, worship divinity through the medium of fire, which is the dispeller of darkness, the giver of life, and according to the Zoroastrian doctrine, which is the divinity that presides over fire. Of course, it is Adar or Atar, but as far as the Ameshas Menta is concerned, it is Ardibesht, or what Iranians call Ardibesht. What is Ardibesht? Asha Vahishta, best truth, the best righteousness. So Ardibesht sides over fire and Ardibesht master healer. In fact, in the Zoroastrian tradition, one is ill, we pray the Ardibesht Yasht. And it's a healing prayer. And it heals. So when you eat even a simple diva at your home, and you keep it in what the Zoroastrian tradition says, Gaitya Dhatu, that means in its rightful place, in its lawful place. What are you doing? Think of it. Every morning when I do my diva at home, this is what runs through my mind. I'm lighting a diva. I'm dispelling darkness from my home and my environment and from my mind. I am bringing in it the light of Ahura Mazda into my home, into my mind and my life. I'm lighting this diva which is going to bring life into my house and life-giving forces into my house, and it is bringing in the energies of Ardibesht into my house, which means I'm bringing good health into my house. When people say that right now we are hit by the pandemic, what is it that we can pray? Light this diva and think of Ardibesht. Ardibesht, the healer, the master healer. And who is Ardibesht? Ardibesht is the embodiment of Asha Vahishta, truth and righteousness. And therefore, in your home, light, life, and you're bringing truth and righteousness in your house. So, and if you can pray together, or you can play in isolation on your own. I always believe a family that prays together stays together. Like manner, we started a program with praying together. Mohammed Sahib led us in a small Hammadagi of 3 Hashem. And what is this Hashem prayer? I will be righteous. I shall be righteous for the sake of righteousness. And this is what we are all affirming. Prayer all about. Prayer is simply attunement with the divine force. We say Yazmaide. Yazmaide means also worship, it means attunement and praise. But more importantly, we are saying that we are synchronizing our finite energy with the infinite energy of this universe and bringing that force of truth, strength, health, and life. So we are making these great affirmations every day. In the on waking up, the Ashem vow that we pray, it's a simple affirmation that I shall be righteous for the sake of righteousness, not for attaining heaven, not for attaining some kind of great heavenly life in future. It's the here and now. I shall do this because it is good. I am right because righteousness is good, and I shall be righteous for the sake of righteousness. And therefore, I will conclude only with this prayer that we pray at the most powerful part of the Atashnyaya, straight from the Gathas itself. Usmai uzareshwa hura, armaiti taveshim daswa, spenishtam enyumazda. And what does Kavaji Edelji Kanga, whose translations I follow, usually for the Avesta, what does it say by Usmai uzareshwa hura? O Aura Mazda, the most beneficent spirit and bestower of good things in return for prayer. Look here, we are not worshipping fire. What are we saying over here? Usuzareshwa Ahurama. So we are saying, oh, Ahura Mazda, true fire. We are worshipping only Ahura Mazda. Oh, Ahura Mazda, the most beneficent spirit and the bestower of good things in return for prayer. Do thou purify me. Keep me away from wicked deeds, and owing to my humility, do grant me the strength on account of my righteousness. Bestow upon me power, and on account of my good thoughts, grant me victory. How full is that? This is what you're praying before the fire. You're not praying, you're not worshiping fire. Through the medium for fire, as one poet once said, true nature to nature's God. We say through fire to fire's creator, or fire with which Ahura Mazda created this entire universe, and he spins the universe, the energy of that fire. Thank you very much.
Very well said.
Simply magnificent. Thank you very, very much, Noshir. Now we've got questions filling up in the chat box. Before we take the questions, let's look at the next slide, which Yazdi will show us, and give a little thought to all four speakers so we can synthesize the thoughts in our mind. So Mobed Behi talked about the fires outside and the fires within us. He spoke of the importance of the role of peoples through time to protect the fire and to protect the faith of different peoples. Mobedia Rashin took us both through the Gatha. She talked about how Yasna 34 verse 4 takes us closer to the Creator through fire. She talked about 32.4, the relationship between Mazda and Asha and the spiritual connection. She commented on the source of the truth, the creator of the world, working in line with Mazda. And then she related what Mary Boyce has taught us about the peace treaties. And this concept of truth and justice is very, very close to the heart of every Zartushti, because governance and structure allows society to progress. So we move from truth, represented by Asha Vahishta and the fire Spenista, through the good mind, Vahumana, fire Vahufriyana, through Kshatra Vairya, to Spenta Armaiti, to Hurvatat, leading to Ameratat, not just for ourselves, but for the whole world, progressing towards Ushta. So that we have intellectual value, emotional and social value, ecological and economic value, and social value. So thank you very much to all our speakers who have guided us on the concept of Atar, that energy, that which transforms into everything. But technically, that which transforms. So not necessarily into, that maybe transforms us. So once again, to the Berize Savange Fire for sustaining us, and homage to Nairyo Sang for its guidance, and homage to all of you and the fires in all of you for making this possible today. So we shall start with our questions. And in the meantime, let us also ask Mabed Saib Darayas Katrak, who has asked to speak. Mabed Saib, if you could raise your hand, then Yazdi will unmute you. I recommend to everybody to read the chat box and see how much it has meant to everyone to hear the stories from all corners of the globe. So thank you, Meher Amal Saji, for doing this for us, putting all the speakers together. Rashinjan, Mobed Rashinjan, people would like to buy your pen. So Meher Amal Saji, could you please put the link to buy the pen if you have it into the chat box? Yes, Daraish Sahib.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you, Dr. Karishma Kuka. Miracle child of your respected parents. I remember respected mother telling me once, Karishma, meaning miracle. Am I right?
Today's miracle is that we have so many people explaining the concept of the Atarsh to us. Give us your opinion and question.
I will not be asking any question. As you mentioned in your announcement, that if from any audience, if someone wishes to share his experience about the help he got from our Matravani, that is Zatustri's prayer. I very well remember my friend Mr. Noshi Darawala also had the similar experience on one of his tour to Iran. Before that, I would like to express that in recent times, the emphasis is given more on Hum Bandagi, which simply stated it is the collective way of praying together. Why I'm saying that is, I will shortly come to why. When you pray alone, the vibrations are created. They are like tap water. But when you pray as a group, the vibrations created are like rain showers. Matravani is the soul of our Dada Uramazda, and Sarosya's body is full of these mantras. I will quickly share my experience on one of my tours to Iran. I visited 3 times to Iran by way of invitation from private tour conductors for religious discourse and historical inputs. In one of my tours, I'm now sharing the experience of our powerful Matravani piece, and I will conclude in 2 minutes. While on my way from Tehran to Isfahan by aircraft, at the airport building, we all know that we have to pass through the scanners. I had kept my bag in the tray. Likewise, my 20 humdins also had kept it. To my surprise, when all the bags rolled out, there was one bag that did not. And that bag was of yours truly, Erwat Darayas Rustam Katrak. I was not at all nervous because I had full faith in my Matravani. Incidentally, today is Beram Roj. And on that day also, it was Beram Roj. Beram Yazar is a Pant Yazar associated with her. I performed the kasti, came back near the security officer. I could see the tour conductor with the folded hands praying. I could see also my Hamdins collectively praying. That is what I call Hum Bandagi. Because I told them that y'all can proceed. I have no bag now, which had inside, my passport, my exchange, and my visa. But none of them were willing. If we go, we will go with our Dastujis because it was the 8th day of our tour. I did my custody and prayed to Behram Yazid that if I have done anything wrong, intentionally or unintentionally, please send me back to India. But I am worried about my these 20 Hamdins, that they will be affected more than me. To my surprise, the senior security officer called the junior security officer with a long, bamboo. Below the scanner, he did something and he brought my bag out. It was like Behram Yazid going inside and bringing the bag out. What a powerful Matravani. What a powerful Jasusi prayer in just one custody. And my Hamdins who did Hum Bandagi for me at the airport. This bag came out. We went running, got our, boarding pass and caught the flight in a closure timeline and went to Isfahan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is proved at a couple of occasions. It is proved at a couple of occasions that our Matravani, our Jathusti prayers have faith. That is more important. Each and every word has got a divine power. Just like my friend Mr. Noshi Darawala said it a little while ago, it is so powerful that heals our illnesses. I would like to share in a minute what exactly happens, what promotes healing. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a research done by none other than Carl Peterson, a USA-born brain specialist. He conducted a study between the brain and praying. Our each and every word are so powerful. They are like, powerful sword at the edge. When it is pronounced, it triggers that part of the brain which secretes, chemical secretions that are directed to our immune system and boost it by 30 to 35%. Why in recent times? Because of pandemic situation, we are told continuously, improve your immune system, improve your immune system. And we, by our Jathusi's prayers, must improve our immune system. Jasdan Panabad, Dejo Sadbar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mobetsad Daraish Katruk. Thank you very much for that explanation. We have a question now from Mr. Hushtas Bamgara. Please, would you ask your question yourself, sir? I think I might ask the question.
Louder.
Yes, may I? Ustazji says, okay, thank you. Thank you, Mobed Behi, for your talk. I have a question with regard to Yazid Atash Behram. Are the traditional prayers and rituals offered to the fire in the boy ceremony? If not, why not? So this answer will enlighten us all.
Could you please a little bit elaborate on bowl ceremony?
The boy ceremony, which we do for the fire at the beginning of every day, 5 times a day.
Yep. Everything done. Yeah. There are bulbets in Yazd, especially Atash Behram. There are dedicated time to the Atash. So that's done. Yes.
It's done. And do we dedicate these prayers to the fire, or do we dedicate the prayers to Ahura Mazda and through the fire? Which way do we actually pray? What is supposed to be our understanding when we stand and we hear our Mabed Sahibs pray?
So the terminology is, I probably, you can expand on this one, and we can talk more. It's a kind of media. Fire is a media. So it's a way that we can connect through that one. So so that's the main thing. That's the main message. And it's a very interesting, like if you just try whatever it's supposed to look at it. When the fire is burning, it gives you a very spiritual feeling. I mean, I always feel that. So it's a media, I would say.
Can I speak?
Absolutely. Mami would like to add something to this. Please
Sure,
go ahead.
definitely, please.
If you permit, yes. Thank you.
Definitely.
Hamad Zor Hamad Shobad.
Thank you.
I would like to stress on the point that fire is energy. When you look at fire, you're looking at energy. Otherwise, you cannot look at energy.
Yep.
Fire is universal energy. There is fire in us, in our stomachs, in our heart, in our brain. Every part of our body lives with warmth. Without warmth, we would be dead. Fire is in the air. Without fire, we cannot breathe because fire gets us more oxygen. With oxygen, we can digest our food. Without oxygen, we cannot digest our food because it doesn't become oxyhemoglobin. And our blood becomes very weak. There are so many uses of fire. There is so much energy all around us. Each one of us is exuding the energy. That energy goes and mixes. It's like a bowl of sky, or even bigger than that. All the united energies together makes God. After all, who has seen God? Is there any God? Is there a human being who's called a God? Or is it a big horse who's a God? Or a big elephant who's a God? Or a huge tree who's a God? God is in everything. God is energy, which can be transformed. Supposing you have water and a glass. You have another cup. You fill that water in the cup, in the glass, in a vase. Wherever you fill it, it takes its shape. So also the energy. It can be transformed, but it cannot be destroyed. It changes its form and shape. That is all. And how will you see it? How will you represent it? How will you explain a child what energy is? From the youngest age, a child wants to know what energy is. Shakti, what is Shakti? What is power? What is energy? The only way to explain that is through the medium of fire. When you look at fire, you feel so spiritual. You feel there is some great power somewhere. And that power is God. When we all pray together, can you imagine the strength of that energy? Can you imagine the power of that energy? It is so, so strong. When you have a glass of water in front of you and you pray, even that water becomes very, very powerful. Then when we talk of fire, can you imagine all of us praying together? We can conquer anything on earth. Our earth is only a spot in the universe. It's nothing very great. But the power that we exude, the power that comes from us, the representation of the fire, the energies all together can defeat any enemy, firstly within us and outside of us. We need not fear anything. Once we have fire in us and fire around us, we have light, we have energy, we have power, we have soulfulness, we have that spirit to carry on in life. Very true. We have hope. And that is the greatest thing. Right now, with COVID going on all over the world, let us hope and pray and instill hope in everybody that you will recover if you fall sick. And you don't have to take medicines. The medicines are within you. You have that energy, that power. Pray in front of fire, pray in front of light. And that light will give you the light. That light will give you the strength to heal yourself. Plants can give you energy. Fire can give you energy. Water can give you energy.
And the medicines that are there also can give
And
us
the
that.
natural medicines are there. Even allopathic medicines are made with natural medicines, natural elements. So let us all pray together. Like Dasiji said, Behi, isn't it? We all must pray together so that that power will light up all the energies around us.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish to make an additional comment, please.
Yes, please, sir. Thank you for your question and comment.
What I meant, thank you very much, Mobed Behi, for answering it. What I wish to say is, along with praying in front of the fire, one of the key things within Zoroastrianism, or being a Zarathustri, is the fact that our prayers, our scriptures state very clearly that Aure Mazda is not omnipotent. He's not all powerful.
True.
The fact remains that through prayer, through our deeds,
Exactly.
thoughts, words, and deeds, as the Yathavaryo says, we are offering our prayer to Aure Mazda for us to do good, and that good strengthens Aure Mazda. Presently, with COVID, it is only a temporary triumph of evil, Ariman, to infect the world. So prayer has a very big part to play in getting rid of this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. In fact, Mabadyar Rashinjan referred to the Kemna Mazda, which has verse from the Gathas where she said, Atrascha manangascha yayao shyotnaish ashimtrauscha. So through good actions and a good mind and fire, we work towards righteousness. So spot on there, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have a question, a comment, really from Jahangir Sarosh. Please, till you unmute, Jahangir Sarosh. Yazdi, Jahangir, please put your hand up so Yazdi can find you. We had a conversation between Jahangir Sarosh and Mobed Firuzgari some time ago. And I'll first let Jahangir speak. Jahangir, put your hand up, please. And then I will also give you what Mobed Sir Firuzgari said to us. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just wanted to state what I have done in the message, and that is very simply that the light is what connects us to what is. And when one is connected to what is, one does what fits. As Dina McIntyre taught me, that what fits is the translation for Asha, i.e. responding to the moment, the need of the moment. And basically it's as simple as that. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you. Noshir, any comment? You want to come in here? May I ask you?
Yeah, I think, as I said, that doctrinally we see Asha Vahishta, that is as presiding over fire, and therefore Ashishta has to be, Asha by itself has various components to it. It's about truth and righteousness, but it's also about divine order. Asha also embodies in it divine order, and therefore through this medium of fire, which is the energy giver, we also see that the entire creation that has been made by Aura Mazda with the recitation of the Ahunavar is based on the principles of art, which is there is a certain law that everything happens its right time. I mean, you don't find planets and stars clashing against each other. Each is in its own, at its own pace, etc. Therefore, Asha is also about a great universal law. And one of the requirements of every human being is to stay attuned with this divine order and stay in sync with this divine order. And that's the only additional input I could give from my side.
Marvelous, marvelous. Talking about order, we've got Mazarine Katrak with us, who wants to build. She not just builds communities, she wants to build for the future. Mazarine, have you any thoughts straight from your heart on the concept of order, Asha, in building that lasts, anything that comes to your mind?
So as a engineering student, there's always order in things. In maths problems, there's a certain way to do it as well. So I think that order, because engineering and physics especially is a study of the universe, study of the life and how things work. So I think that that translates into our religion as well, and that how we have order in different things, and how there is an order for all things on earth and in the universe. So yeah.
Beautifully said, Mazarine. And
Thank
this
you.
is really important in today's world because we're so keen on the built environment being in consonance with the natural environment so that we can be in consonance with nature in a way that lasts. And in fact, the concept of natural destruction comes or links closely, some people say, to the way building can go against natural order and disturb the land, whether it's building or any other form of disruption. So thank you for your insight, because for the environment, order is critical, that we work with the natural Asha.
Yes. And I feel that several engineers and architects, especially what I'm studying at the moment, is integrating different scenarios and different forms of life into our studies as well. So for example, right now I'm studying architecture in the sense where we pretend that half the population is blind. So you're always advancing on what nature produces, because although no matter how much we grow and evolve, people will still have disabilities, people will still have problems. So we are shaping what we can shape around what is already existing rather than trying to create something new. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That fits in very well with also what Nosher referenced. He talked about the concept of Yazamaide. Yazamaide being attunement, and also that we rever together towards Frashokerati. In the Zartushti Daina, it's never I pray. It's always we pray.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mazarine.
Thank you.
If Dina McIntyre is here, Jangir Sarosh referenced Dina, but till we find Dina, and if she's got something to say, I'm just going to do that. Till that time, I just want to read out a little something on what Dasturji Firozgari taught me. And that is, he says, with the definition of God being same as the law of Asha, in my opinion, hardly anyone has yet fathomed what God is in terms of creation. And this was a conversation we had with Jangir, and something that he said, because he said that lack of energy or lack of light is darkness, which is something that Nosher also said.
Is that Roshan?
And so Dasturji Firozgari says, with respect to creation, energy and evil is simply the lack or blockage of this energy. The same as darkness is simply the blockage of light, or cold is the absence of heat. So just the lack or negative, but not something that is created as an entity, which is what Nosher also said. There's Dina.
Here I am.
Anything to add or comment?
No, I think especially Mazarine, I'm just awestruck. I love a lot of the stuff I've heard has been very instructive and very inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
May I have a comment, please?
Of course, please go ahead, identify yourself so that Yazdi can then spotlight you if possible, if you'd like.
Yes, this is Poran Rostamian from Vancouver. First of all, I have to thank you for all of you and thank you to all Mubits. We are so proud of them, all well educated and then well said all the presentation and information. It's so thankful and thank you to you and your mother. And then I really appreciate how you interpret the energy in the body. It's so true. It's so true. And we know that our religion is very based on knowledge, physics, and science. And as you said, we can transfer it all to the rule of the physics. The energy never end, always transfer from one form to the other. And it's so interesting that how well you said in each cell of our body, we have fire. As a Dr. Ardashibe, he knows better than me because he is working on the molecular cells, but in each of our molecule, ATP transfer to ADP means fire and release energy. And that is the best well said in our religion. We are so proud that our religion is based on all science in the world, universe, all law in the universe, practice is said in our religion. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Meher, for bringing such wonderful speakers and the audience together today. Till another question comes up, we have another engineer here who has dedicated many hours of his time to translating Mobadia Rashinjan's work. Dr. Hakmaneshini, if you have a comment to make, please feel free to do so and give us your insight.
I just want to say it was my most pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Meher, very kindly. I really appreciate your invitation. It's very nice seeing all your faces and all your wisdom and all your kindness and support. I'm super grateful. Mubediyar Dr. Rashin Jahangiri did all the work. I merely translated it, and it was my most pleasure. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
On that note, if we may close, if there's nobody else who wants to say anything, we will just have a little thought, give everyone a little chance to come up with a question and hear the first verse of the Gathas in my mum's voice. And if you've got time now to put in any comments or any thoughts.
Ostano zato rafetraya Maniush malsa por mí Spentleas Ashab in Spain Short night Mangiush Kartum manango Ya Snevisha Geusha Orvani.
We have a little comment from Mr. Sorab Shapurji saying, we are from the southern tip of Africa, a minuscule Zartoshti community, and we commend your team for hosting these meetings to enlighten us. Thank you for all the effort put in. So thank you to all the speakers. Thank you, Mr. Meher Amalsad. If anybody has anything to say, please do. Otherwise, Yazdi, please close after the Hambandagi from Mabed Sahib Behi. Behi Sahib, Mabed Behi, Ardeshar, please will you give us a Hambandagi?
Unmute.
I'm really sorry. I was talking to myself. Sorry. So as I mentioned, the most important part of these prayers is being together and recite it together. So please join me. This is a prayer that all of us know. So I would like to hear your voice as well. So if you would like to unmute yourself, so that would be very, I think.
You are on mute again. Unmute.
Sorry, I was on mute. Okay, so please join me. I started with the name of the God, Khashnaw Traore Mazda, and three Hashem rules. And I would like to hear all of you. So please unmute yourself. So we are going to recite together. Now may Autra Aure Masdao
Natra Uremasdao
Shemwahu Vaishnamasthi Masdao Asti Ahmai Atashai Ashtao Yashem Shemwahu Vaishnamasthi Ashtao Asti Ahmai Ashtao Yashem Vaishnamasthi Ashtao Asti Ashtao Atmai Adashai Ashtao Yashem. Thank you so much. May our Mother bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karishma. Excellent webinar.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Karishma, you're on mute.
We also have many esteemed people and teachers from around the world in the audience today. Thank you all for staying with us. Not sure if you have a comment to close us with.
Got one, I think there's the other one. You said they got the.
Sorry?
If you have any comment to close.
No, I think I'm just very grateful for the opportunity. It's a great opportunity for me to have learned today from some of my elders. And importantly, what inspires me today is hope. When I see our young generation who's so enthusiastic, who's so to the religion, I think if there is one message I carry back home today is of hope, that the Zoroastrian religion will not just survive, but it'll thrive thanks to young Zartushtis that we have in our midst.
Want to say something? Close.
There's one more point I'd like to bring out. People say that you can defile the fire. Fire can never be defiled. Fire is the destroyer of everything that is evil. Just a thinking point I've given you. Please think over it. You cannot destroy fire. Fire destroys everything. While fire gives life, fire also destroys everything. It cannot be polluted. It will not be defiled by anything. Not even your imagination can destroy fire. It'll engulf everything. It'll swallow up everything.
That is by definition what we have. Atarsh, Potra, Ahorahe, Mazdao. That which purifies.
Pavitrakar o Mazdaura, Ushmoi Uzare Shwaura. It means purify me. O Atash, O fire, please purify me. That means burn all the evil inside me, all the greed, all the sorrow, all the unhappiness, all the diseases, whatever you think is evil, please destroy all that inside me. Envy, jealousy, hatred.
And disease.
And
disease.
Disease,
So
yes.
with that, if we may please close, Yazdi, with a good thought for all those people suffering around the world with diseases, discomfort. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of them. Thank you to our great speakers today. This has given us
Thank you.
time to take down the website that Dr. Rashin Jan has put in, the website, the phone number. If I could draw your attention to that, where you can get the Gatha pen. Thank you all to our speakers. Thank you. Thank you, Yazdi Tantra, for the support. May we have the last slide, please, before we close. Bahumat is only possible because of all the great people who are in our team. And the last slide that you will be seeing now has the names of all those people and our wonderful fellowship ambassadors, the youth we have talked about today.
Louder.
Just give me a minute.
It's okay, I'll do it from here, Yazdi. Done. So we have Mr. Meher Malsad, the mentor and facilitator. Mohammad Meherban Firuz Giria, guiding light. Mohammad Soli P. Dastul, prayers for his health. Noshir Dadrawala, Mr. Tantra, Ervat Kobad Zarolia, Ervat Brigadier Behram Pantaki, Mr. Arzan Sam Wadia, Mr. Petrus Bevaina, Dr. Mickey Mehta and Ms. Tina Mistry for the initial support, and our wonderful young fellowship ambassadors Yazid Unwala, Ervat Jehan Kotwal, Ervat Xerxes Bandara, Tina's Karbhari, Benaz Nanavati, thank you for putting things on social media, Mazareen Katrak, our speaker and our help on social media, and Leah Contractor from Pakistan. At this point, thank you to all those people who help us to share the message of Asho Zarathustra. This is key. Parsi Khabar, Zoroastrians.net, Parsi Times, Worldwide Zoroastrians, Miss Persis Zach, who has helped us share the message on Worldwide Zoroastrians. Thank you all to all the associations who share these emails around the world so that we can share the message, the spirit of Asho Zarathustra. Bye-bye, take care, have a wonderful month. See you in a month's time.